Hi everyone, my name's Dimitri and welcome back to DimitriTube. We are here, we made it. This emotional roller coaster is finally coming to a close. Bachelorette, part 2 of the finale, episode 13. Baby, this episode delivered. So let's dive right in and talk about it. Yep, right from the jump, that is the outfit of the episode. This is a very sexy gown that Tayshia is wearing, and her body looks amazing in it. I will say, I don't love the color of it. I do wish it was black, but she still looks good. So the episode starts with Ben returning to La Quinta to talk to Tayshia. He wants to tell Tayshia that he loves her, and he regrets not saying it earlier. So during the chat, Ben tells Tayshia that right before the rose ceremony, he told Chris Harrison that he's in love with her. And then Tayshia asks, why tell everyone but me? And then Ben replies he didn't tell her because he was terrified. And then Tayshia says, down the road, we're together. So what? Are you gonna be there? Or are you gonna run away every time it gets hard? And when she said that, I really felt that. Like, she's right. And as we learn later on the episode, one of Tayshia's biggest fears is committing to someone and having them run away later on down the road. And then during the rest of the one-on-one, Ben continues to apologize and he just tells Tayshia, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like, he just keeps repeating it. This whole scene to me was very pathetic. I really wish Tayshia had just told him, sorry, Ben, it's too little too late. But then after that, she invites Ben to the rose ceremony, and as they're saying their goodbyes, she ends up kissing him. Now, this was quite the turn of events. I was really not expecting that. And at the same time, I was also like, girl, what are you doing? This guy is not the one for you. But it does make an amazing storyline. So I think Tayshia kissed Ben because at this point, they literally just broke up. So this breakup is still fresh and there are still raw feelings there. And they have a clear connection. There is clearly passion there. But I think Tayshia was thinking more of the good relationship they had. She wasn't necessarily thinking about what is the best for her future. She was very much in the moment at that point. And honestly, I can't fault her for that. We've all been there. You know that saying that they tell guys, think with what's in your head, not with what's in your pants? Like, I think she was just caught up in the passion, whereas she should have been listening to what her head was saying. So now we're going into the rose ceremony and Ben is back and Brendan is nowhere to be found. If you watch closely, Ivan was so over it at this point. Like, when Ben showed up, Ivan's demeanor very much indicated that he was over the process and just over the situation. And then Tayshia is like, Ivan, can we talk? And Ivan responds, what's up? And Ivan is normally very proper in his responses, so it just became more clear to me that he was over it. So then Ivan and Tayshia have a one-on-one, and Tayshia says there are no red flags, but religion is important to her. Now, this whole scene and whole explanation was very vague. I feel like this was a BS excuse, and Tayshia and the producers were just trying to sugarcoat it. So if any of you found out what Ivan's religion in fact is, please let me know below in the comments. I was gonna research it, but then I decided not to because I knew Ivan wasn't going to win, so it really doesn't matter what the reason is he got sent home. Now, I'm not going to sit here and speculate on what Ivan's religion in fact is because it's just too messy and I'm not trying to take the video in that direction. So then Ivan gets sent home, and in the Uber XL he says, I think this is a lot harder than Tayshia imagined, and I don't know if she'll feel comfortable really with anybody by the end of this. Because I think me and her made the most sense. It's gonna be tough on her, but she's not gonna pick anybody, I don't think. And after Ivan said that, I was like, and I agree with Ivan. On paper, him and Tayshia do in fact make the most sense, but they have no connection. So at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter. And I think Tayshia sent Ivan home on the spot versus at the rose ceremony because she wanted to preserve his feelings. Like, she didn't want Ivan to see that she was giving Ben a rose over him. But honestly, Ivan is not a dumb guy. Like, he knew what was going on. And to me, both ways were equally as bad. And also, let me add just one more thing before we move on. This whole season, Easy was the only one to shed a tear for Tayshia in the Uber XL. Now Ben and Zac are going to meet Tayshia's family, and Ben is up first. In my opinion, Tayshia's dad is a typical stern black father who wants the best for his daughter. And I think ABC cut out a lot of parts of when Ben met the family. I've mentioned this before in a previous review. Ben is a super nice guy, but he's just a little weird. And on top of that, he was super nervous to meet her parents, and I don't think he's ever met a black father before in this capacity. So Ben tries to be like buddy with her dad, and it doesn't work. Tayshia literally had to swoop in to help Ben break the ice, and she's like, oh dad, by the way, Ben went to West Point, which dads love to hear that. By the way, my dad wanted me to go to West Point Military Academy. And after that, Ben and the family all ride scooters, and it's really cute. I was surprised because Tayshia's hair is perfect. She's in this really pretty dress and heels, and she hops on the scooter too. Now we get to see Zac meet the family. When Zac was talking to Tayshia's mom and dad, this just seemed way more sincere, and it seemed more like a real conversation compared to what we had seen previously with Ben. And Zac read the room a little better. Instead of trying to be buddy with her dad like how Ben did, he tried to sell himself on why he would be a good husband for Tayshia, which with this kind of dad, I think that was a way better approach. And at one point, Zac is talking to Tayshia's dad, and he says, we were talking about family and you came up. And she said, my dad has always been my rock. He's been tough on me at times, like dads can be, but she went on to tell me you gave her this life. You put her through private school. You gave her these opportunities. You may be over your head at times, but you did it because you loved her. I thought this was interesting because this whole season, I've wanted to know more about Tayshia. And at this point, we're learning more about Tayshia from Zac than we are from Tayshia herself. So the next day, Tayshia's dad returns to meet up with Tayshia and have a talk. So they sit down, and Tayshia's dad says, I don't want you to get hurt. And seeing these guys, we don't want things to go backwards for you. It might not be what you want to hear, but I don't want you to be making the biggest mistake of your life. So basically, Tayshia's dad is saying, neither of these clowns is the right man for you. And to me, this is a normal response you would get from a stern black father. Like, he's not going to warm up to your boyfriend after one meeting. Like, he needs more time. And I thought that was reasonable. Next, we get a one-on-one date with Zac and Tayshia, and they both meet up on a bench. Now, initially, I did not really like this dress that Tayshia was wearing, but later on in the date, they learn a traditional wedding dance, and this dress starts to make more sense. And while they're sitting on the bench, Tayshia asks, are you nervous for what the rest of this journey might look like? And y'all, Tayshia is so vague. Like, at this point, it's really starting to annoy me. Anyway, next they go to the next part of the date where they learn a traditional wedding dance, and I loved this date. Like, I thought it was so cute. And y'all, Tayshia is not a dancer. At one point, she had to walk for 4 counts, and she couldn't get it. So after that, Tayshia and Zac later on talk some more, and then Tayshia says that she's worried about what may happen down the road. Tayshia says that she's worried that Zac may run away. She's worried she may lose her ambition. And when she's talking, she lists a bunch of things that are potential for their future, but she's very vague about it, and she also rushes through it. And at this point, I was getting a little annoyed again because, 1, she's being very vague again. And 2, you cannot predict the future. You're either going to take a risk and try to build a future with Zac, or you're not. Plain and simple. Yes, I know it's super scary, but you have to put faith into the situation. It's part of the game of love. So now we're going into a one-on-one with Ben and Tayshia. And right before Tayshia goes into the one-on-one, Tayshia, in a confessional, says, my heart is not with Ben. And I'm like, yes, yes. I am so glad that Tayshia finally listened to her gut and broke up with Ben. So then we go into the finale, and Tayshia ends up picking Zac, and I am so happy that she did, and I'm so happy for them. At the end, they rode away in that papier-mâché taxi cab they had on an earlier date this season, and I thought that was so cute. Like, I really hope they hold on to that cab and then they, like, hang it up in their garage in the future or something like that. Now, I do think Tayshia and Zac will go all the way. I think they'll be together forever. Historically, relationships made from The Bachelorette tend to be more successful than relationships made on The Bachelor. And I really like them together, and I think they're gonna work. But I will say though, I think they're going to end up meeting halfway with this 5 kids thing. I think they're more likely going to have 3 kids instead of 5. Because if they do want 5 kids, Tayshia literally will have to start popping them out starting next year. And what do the scientists say? After age 35, it's tougher for women to have children. I don't know exactly what it is. Somebody let me know below in the comments. And don't get me wrong, Tayshia can have her kids whenever she wants. She could just pull a Janet Jackson and have a kid at age 50. But what we've seen from her personality on the show, I don't think she would want to do that. And I really would love if Zac and Tayshia took a year or 2 to themselves to get to know one another more before they start having children. Like, I really think it would be more beneficial to their relationship to do that before they start adding extra roommates to the situation. Before I go, I do want to give you all my Bachelor picks and my Paradise picks before we wrap up this video. It is a long way off before they pick another Bachelor, like probably not until 2022. Like, I think ABC is just going to choose someone from the next cast of The Bachelorette. Like, I don't think they're going to pick from the current group of guys, but of course there is speculation about which one of the current guys is the most likely to get it. Now, I'm just going to talk about 4 of the guys who have been talked about as contenders. I'll start with the most deserving. Now, if we had to pick out of this crop of guys, I do think Ivan would be the most deserving and the best option to be Bachelor. But the problem is I highly doubt that ABC is going to pick 2 Black Bachelors in a row. I just don't think it's going to happen. Next is Ben. A lot of people have been throwing around Ben's name as the next Bachelor. Even TMZ did a story on this, but I don't think he would be a good Bachelor. And I don't think Ben would be a good pick for Paradise either. This is going to be a read, but I got to tell you all how I feel. Ben is the type of guy that girls say they want, but they end up dating his best friend. Next, we have Brendan. I do not want Brendan as Bachelor. Like, the way it ended with him and Tayshia, like, ruined it for me. And him taking all this time to realize he wasn't over his divorce, yeah, it made great television, but at the same time, you wasted a lot of ABC's resources. And to me, it just shows you're not a good decision maker. And lastly, we have Tyler C. No, not that Tyler C, this Tyler C. The one from Hannah B's season, and Matt James's best friend. The possibility of Tyler C being the Bachelor has been floating around for a while now. I don't think Tyler C is gonna get Bachelor because he's just not down to earth enough. Y'all, he used to date Gigi Hadid. And don't get me wrong, Tyler C is a great guy, but people thirst after him on social media so hard. And I feel like a typical viewer of this show would not enjoy a season with him. And it would literally be a bunch of models chasing after a male model, and just too many insecurities, and the girls likely would pop up, especially knowing he used to date Gigi. Now, on to my Paradise picks. I'll start with the girls. My first Paradise pick is Alaya. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. She's one of the contestants from Peter Weber's season. I think she would be perfect for Paradise, but more than likely she's not gonna be on it because I think she has a boyfriend now, according to her Instagram. My next pick is Victoria F. Yes, she is literally made for Paradise. Her body is literally perfect. And I won't dive too deep into this, but her personality is perfect for working with the producers. That's all I'm gonna say. I won't say anymore. And my next pick is McKenna. McKenna would be perfect for Paradise. Like, she would be so entertaining to watch. One read that I do have though is I do not like her fashion that much, but I appreciate the fact that she takes risks. And her fashion doesn't matter as much in Paradise because the majority of the time they're wearing bathing suits anyway. Now, for the guys, my Paradise picks are Blake Moynes and Chasen. So Blake Moynes, to me, like, he's just fun, and I feel like he would translate that very well into Paradise. The only read I do have, though, is Blake is a nice Canadian guy. I think it would work in his favor a little more if he was just a little more of a douchebag. Just a little bit, not a lot. Next is Chasen. Chasen is perfect for Paradise. He's a good-looking guy. He starts drama, and no shade, but he's not the brightest bulb in the tanning bed. So with all of that, he would be perfect for Paradise. Now, my last 2 picks are Jason and Jordan C. Now, I just like these 2 as people, and I would just love to see more of them. So putting them on Paradise would be the best bet. Now, I will say I'm half and half about it. I want to see more of them, but I don't necessarily think they'll do well in Paradise. Paradise. And also, if Jordan C goes to Paradise, he really should get LASIK because he looks 10 times better without glasses. And the last two I want to talk about is Bennett and Kenny. Now, I feel like a lot of people want to see Bennett and Kenny in Paradise, but I do not think it's going to happen. The problem is Kenny is 39 and Bennett is 36. So if they have Paradise, it's not going to be till next year. And by the time it starts, Kenny's going to be 40 and Bennett's going to be 37. Now, I personally do not think age should be a factor, but the problem is if you look at Peter's season and you look at Matt James's season, if you look at the age of the women on both seasons, a lot of the women are very young. A lot of them are like 23 and 24. And they're more than likely going to pick women from those two seasons. And typically, ABC does not like to put these guys that are pushing 40 with all of these girls who are 23, 24. And that is the end of the season and all I have for you all. Wow, we really made it to the end of this Bachelorette season. Like, that was such a wild ride. I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me. I had so much fun reviewing these videos with you all, and it's a little bittersweet to me that it's over. But we do not have to wait for long because Matt James's season starts in like a week and a half. And yes, I plan on reviewing that season as well right here on YouTube, and I hope you all join me. And they did an extended preview last night after the show, and it looks good. I think this is about to be the most dramatic season ever. And I just want to say thank you again to all of you that supported my channel. It really means a lot to me. Now, before I go, I just want to give a toast and a congratulations. Oop. So I just want to say cheers to Tayshia and Zac. I don't know if you're out there watching, but congratulations on your engagement and best of luck to both of you on this newfound relationship. I wish both of you years and years of happiness, and I cannot wait to see where you both go from here. Cheers. Messy boots. I was trying to look cute on camera. And that is it. I cannot wait to see you all at the start of Matt James's season. And just to make sure you don't miss it, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. And I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.